Houston, we have a problem.
I feel the need for speed. Ow!
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
Help me help you.
You are a toy!
My team is dead!
There's no crying in baseball!
Relax. This pot is making you aggressive.
Wilson!
You complete me.
Hello and welcome back to We Bought a Mic, a pop culture poolcast. Here with a review of The Color of Money, a Martin Scorsese picture, starring Paul Newman, Tom Cruise. This is a series on the films of Mr. Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks, double stack combo series. It's called Tom v. Tom, aka A Tale of Two Toms, aka
Go ahead.
Cruisemas with the Hanks. Welcome. We're talking balls. We're talking sticks.
Yeah.
We're talking
cues.
We're talking chalk.
Crack. You might be hearing.
We're talking crack.
We're recording this from a pool hall right now, so any loud banging you might hear
It's
is
definitely not
it's
like
a clean ass fucking
thunder.
break. That 9 ball is going straight in on the break, and that's not a flaw in the game somehow.
welcome. My name's Ernest.
I'm a fucking pool player! I'm a fucking animal! Oh!
Jesus.
My name's Hunter.
And I'm Drew, and we have a guest.
Welcome back, Joseph Salomone.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back in person this time. I've got
Yes.
nothing to say about Lola Bunny this time around.
Salute. Salute.
Don't speak so fast.
I know
okay?
that's like the Chekhov's gun
That
Chekhov's gun, yeah.
of this pod.
I have a
Subscribe
whole
to
category.
the
I'm Joey, and I
Patreon.
have nothing to say about. I just want you guys to know.
I have a whole category about like, would this movie be better if Lola Bunny was bending her fat
Yeah.
ass over every table?
Instead of Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. Welcome back.
It's good to be here. I appreciate the invitation.
We got the all the dirty forbidden jokes out of the way in the Patreon. Subscribe to the Patreon. $5 a month. Help us buy more mics. We need new mics. We need to buy mics. You can buy a mic. You can buy us a mic. $5 a month. Patreon. Subscribe.
If you actually pay the extra super deluxe where you buy a mic with 1 month's subscription, then you can come on the pod.
There you go. And we will not watch Epic Movie.
Yes. We'll watch Epic Movie 2. We'll
Is
write
there-
the screenplay for Epic Movie 2, film it, and then watch it.
Scared the shit out
I
of
know
me
his
for a
face
second.
when he thought for a moment that there was an epic movie too.
You do superhero movie. You do Vampires Suck. You
There's
do
a
Meet the
lot.
Spartans. you
Yeah.
know? There's a whole catalog of them.
So, when you chose this movie, what was your thought? What was kind of your thought process when you first heard about the series and your selection of The Color of Money?
Well, The Color of Money, one, it had always been a big Scorsese blind spot for me.
Oh,
and
so
I'm
you
a
hadn't
big,
seen
I'm a
it.
big Scorsese guy. Obviously, he's the it may be the GOAT. I think that's not too
we'll
hot
talk
of a
about
take.
it. We got to talk a lot of Scorsese to this.
And then two, it was the Tom Cruise of it all. That the fact that this is so young in his career. This was, I mean, he left. I think he literally like finished shooting Top Gun and went to shoot this like maybe the next day. So it
Might
kind of
as
felt
well,
like,
man.
and then too, I love Paul Newman. He's one of my favorite actors. And then also, I went back and I watched The Hustler. I don't know if you guys did.
I
but
did as well.
It's and I
We
know
did our homework.
That's like my dad's favorite movie. So I was like, might as
Really?
well,
Very cool.
one
Cool
fell
dad.
swoop, get them all done.
Did dads love Paul Newman? I think dads love
Do
Paul
dads-
Newman.
Absolutely.
Love Paul Newman.
Does your dad play pool?
He does. Yeah, he loves billiards.
There you go.
I
Let's
think that's
fucking go.
that's why Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is like one of the most important movies ever, is because every dad loves Paul Newman and every mom loves Robert Redford.
Wow.
So it's the convergence of those
Yeah.
two things.
Butch Cassidy, I think they showed in a college class, and
Butch
I
Cassidy
like.
ruled.
I mean, I
Didn't see it.
assure you they did.
I think I like fell asleep that day or something.
Ernie, you got to watch Butch Cassidy. I've
I
seen
will.
Butch Cassidy.
I wrote
like, a
multiple
handful of
reports
times.
on that movie, and I did not watch it ever. And I know it's great. I know it's Robert Goldman, and it's a commentary on the end of the American Western. I want
Isn't
to
it?
watch it.
This is a side note, but every Western at a certain point
Is a
is about the
commentary on
end
the
of the
end.
Western. Every single Western is about the same thing after the 60s.
I have gone
so
on this
right.
rant before on this podcast because
really?
now superheroes, all superhero stories want to do this thing. And I'm like, can we just make a movie that's about the genre that we're making this in? And it
Right.
doesn't have to be a commentary on the end of that genre.
No, that's
because
facts.
we're fine. We're all fine.
So, 1986, Tom Cruise. We just covered Top Gun. Like you said, he basically walks off the set straight to this one. This is where he starts to kind of pick directors, I think. You know, this is like, obviously Martin Scorsese, legend, had already made Taxi Driver, had already made The King of Comedy, Raging Bull. Hadn't made Goodfellas, though.
I was going to say, this is actually in kind of a weird spot for Scorsese.
Let's get into it right now.
Because he makes Raging Bull in 1980, which was a critical hit, but didn't make a lot of money. I think it made 20 mil on a $17 million budget. So it wasn't like big financially successful. The King of Comedy only made $2.5 million on a $20 million budget. That movie fucking bombed.
Wow.
It tanked hard. And it's been like now reclaimed.
83?
82, I want to say. Maybe 83.
And to hate it at the time it came out.
Yeah.
Really, really poorly received.
That is a movie that now we appreciate as time's gone on, because I think there was like a little film, I can't remember what it was called. There was a film a few years ago that made us reappreciate the King of Comedy. I think that it was kind of twisted.
Right. I think if you say the name of the movie, the lightning will hit this house and we will fry.
Todd Phillips, rest in peace. Hopefully.
But yeah, 80s.
Then after that is After Hours, which wasn't a big success. Again, that's another movie that's 80s Scorsese has now been kind of reclaimed. But at the time, After Hours only made 10 mil on a $5 million budget.
I mean, he was making the same or close to the same weird, grimy movies that made him famous in the 70s.
Yeah.
And then in the 80s,
those movies were... Yeah, people were like, I want to see E.T.
Yeah.
I want to see fun blockbuster
I think, too, this is kind of his for hire era. This isn't like... these aren't the films that he was like developing. This is kind of like scripts that he'd come across.
This is 100% like a paycheck movie.
Yeah. This is like his Marvel movie, essentially. It's kind of interesting to think about it that way.
He's like, I got to get into the IP universe somehow.
Yeah, it literally is. This is what IP was back then. This is... So the original is from what, like 60?
63. Oh, 61?
I think it's 61.
Both guys who watched the movie.
Yeah. Did you fucking watch it or not?
It's 1961. 1961.
And interesting to know, before getting into The Color of Money, way different from The Color of Money. This is like, it's like on the waterfront. It's this kind of old classic Hollywood.
It's very, very slow. It's very like kind of somber, which is different from 60s movies. Like it feels closer to something from the 40s. Because in the 60s, like you get more, there's a reason why people kind of like ended up bemoaning movies like Oliver winning Best Picture every year, because everything is just like has to have a little bit of a cheery, happy ending. And The Hustler does not have a happy ending to it at all. And it is like The Color of Money is a much more fun movie than The Hustler.
Color of Money's like hanging out, having a good time. The Hustler is like, I'm doomed to never grow up.
But just like in The Hustler, two of the best things about the entire movie are the pool shots. The way that pool is shot in The Hustler, and especially in Color of Money, and the actual pool play that's taking place by the actors in the movie, and then our boy Paul Newman.
This is a Paul Newman movie.
Fast Eddie is out here.
So none of us had seen this movie before, right? You hadn't seen it before, Hunter? Okay, so this is interesting. I don't know the last time that this happened where no one on the episode had seen the movie before, but I really thought that Tom Cruise was going to be a bigger part of this movie, and he kind of disappears in the second half, which kind of left me a little shocked. Like I was like, whoa, like I didn't expect that, because Paul Newman is far and away the main character of this movie, and I don't think the first half necessarily lets you in on that completely. It kind of is more of this ensemble piece, almost like a two-hander between the two of them. And I love Tom in this movie. I think this is great, Tom. We're going to get into the categories at the end and evaluate our boy.
We're going to evaluate our boy.
We're going to evaluate his hair, at least. At the very minimum, we're going to talk about that hair.
Oh my goodness.
This is a Paul Newman movie. And like I said, I've never seen Sundance Kid. I don't think I've seen any Paul Newman movie before this.
Say what?
You know what's the saddest thing is when you go on Letterboxd, the two most common Paul Newman movies are Cars and Cars 3.
Jesus Christ, I might kill myself.
And then like salad dressing.
It's on there.
And it's like, you guys don't get it. His pasta sauce is really underrated.
Yeah.
It's good. Socceroonie. It's got the whole shebang.
He has a great ranch.
So
love a good Ken's ranch.
that's my biggest takeaway is
Okay,
I
so
fucking love Paul
it's
Newman.
Newman's own ranch.
Well, the thing too.
Ken, who's what are you?
That's a different guy.
Jesus.
I'm just Ken. I'm just Ken's ranch.
Ken's ranch is phenomenal. Anyway, big
Love Paul
agree.
in this.
I also don't think I had seen Paul Newman outside of course,
Really?
the Cars franchise.
I love Paul Newman.
I'm
He's
not-
one of my
yeah.
all-time faves.
I'm not well studied.
well,
Have
the-
you guys? Oh, so none of you guys have seen The Sting then either?
No.
Right?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I
You
need
guys should
to.
check out The Sting. It's like, I feel like looked back on not as fondly because it is the movie that bridges The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2 for winning Best Picture. So people are like, the fucking Sting won Best Picture between the Godfather movies. But The Sting is a lot of fun. It's, once again, Paul Newman and Robert Redford together. Two of the most important important actors ever, especially the 20th century.
Yeah.
I wanted to say the thing
rocks.
about Paul Newman that's interesting that I've always been fascinated by is he kind of I don't know if you guys are well read on him as a person, but his whole thing, he was kind of this tortured soul because he never thought he'd be as good as I'm blanking on the guys. Steve McQueen. They had this kind of rivalry between the two of them, and he was like, I'm a good actor, but I'll never be as good as Steve McQueen. And I don't know, you guys, I don't know if you've seen any of his movies, but I've like, nobody gives a shit about Steve McQueen anymore. And Paul Newman is the beloved one.
Yeah.
So it's funny that this movie, because I also have another thing about best torch passing movies, because this is high up there as far as like
Yeah.
passing the torch from Newman to Cruise. But Cruise and his filmography is a lot closer to something like Redford or even Steve McQueen. And Paul Newman, I feel like the closest surrogate that we have to Newman right now is probably Leo. Like, as far as just playing like very
You open this for me?
complex
I
very like complex
I don't know how to
characters,
open it.
always being like very mindful of the choices that he's making and the people who he's working with. Tom was like that early on in his career, but eventually just kind of moved to like, I want to lead produce this thing that I'm making, and going a little bit more towards the Redford route. But
There's another Paul Newman movie later down the road that we're not covering that we might
we aren't
do.
covering The Firm.
Oh, is he in The Firm?
Yeah, isn't he in The Firm?
No, it's
Are you
Road
thinking
to
of The Verdict?
I'm thinking of The Verdict.
Road to
Yeah.
Perdition.
Are you telling me that there's two different courtroom dramas, The Firm and The Verdict?
He does a Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah, that's
Sam
right.
Mendes picture, Road to Perdition. So maybe I'll sneak that one in as a side project.
My podcast co-host Adam Sudrace loves Road to Perdition.
Really,
It's
he's
one of his favorite
he's a
movies.
perdition
Big
head.
Mendes.
He's a
Big
Perdition
Mendes
head.
guy.
He's a big
Wow.
Mendes head.
There's
Yeah.
dozens of them.
I've heard that like he really likes American Beauty, but like only the Kevin Spacey.
Only the
parts.
Kevin Spacey stuff. Yeah,
only
he-
like him, but not even so much like his performance. It's more of like who that character was.
I think it's just I think he sees that movie like a hangout movie. He just likes the
Yeah.
character. He just wants to spend
vibe.
time with him.
He's like, man, I wish that I Love was their neighbor.
What is it? Lester Dunham? What's the guy's name? Lena Dunham? I don't remember.
Yeah,
What did we think of this movie?
I'm a big billiards fan, as we all know.
We're gonna have to get into this. I have lots of thoughts, and they mainly involve me and Hunter.
Stable horse.
Yeah, hustling at Sportstown.
Yeah. And I'm getting jealous because you're like grabbing Hunter's ass. I'm like, that's mine.
I would pimp you out, Drew. I want you to know that I would
Thank
be
you.
your pimp, but I am taking 60%.
Big fan of this movie. Big fan of the general idea of this being right what Cruise comes off of Top Gun with, because he's playing it's the idea of a character who cannot not be good. He's like, I gotta do it all.
Yeah.
I gotta do the most. There's no other option for me. I gotta buzz the fucking tower.
Right.
You know?
He's
It's-
wilding out.
Yeah, it's a natural fit. He kisses really weird in this one too.
yeah, he does.
Differently, but still very weirdly.
He got the note that it was just like too much tongue. He's like, cool. So only biting lips, then, right? that's what girls like. Then just like a lot of teeth.
Yeah, it's a very enjoyable movie. I think there. I mean, I have a lot of Marty thoughts involving the movie because,
The fucking camera. in
Yeah.
this
well,
is
yeah,
flying.
it's sort of it almost reminds me of like what I said about like how The Boys just like ate up too much of like like they took all the ideas of like fucked up superhero worlds and now like you can't make your own little sub show because they already did whatever that is.
Right.
That's like this for like shots of a pool table. Like that's
why there's no billiards movies.
Marty did all of the edits and shots of pool balls that you can make. And there's no point to even try anymore.
Yeah,
like
my Letterboxd review was Marty's on set. Like, okay, what if the camera was moving for this one? I mean, some of the shots are ridiculous. I mean, like this, like moving around the table and shit. There's the POVs of the balls. It's ridiculous.
It's so funny because I'm filling in a lot of Scorsese blind spots in anticipation of Killers, and I just watched After Hours for the first time last week, and that. Once again, this is just a weird time for Scorsese because you can tell he's like bored by the act of filmmaking, which is just like a point that a lot of filmmakers get at, where they're just like, I gotta like fucking up the difficulty on this thing. I have to like shoot this on hard mode. And it's something that happens even with directors today. Like I also just threw on like an hour of Babylon the other day, and that's just like Damien Chazelle's like, I'm bored with shooting movies. I want to make this as dynamic as possible, whether it needs it or not.
Which hour?
The first hour.
Okay.
The best.
Shot through the golden hour sequence, and that was like I had to go like clean my house.
also Thelma. It's edited like hell.
There's some wild stuff. The crossfade sequence towards the end.
Yeah,
Well, that's
The
from The Hustler
montages.
too. That's
Really?
Yeah.
that's the Hustlers like that, where you're watching it and you're like, they only used fades during this movie.
It's
That's all they had back then.
Who shot
it's-
this? Who's the DP on this?
think Cruz.
Michael Ballhaus.
Yeah, it's a Ballhaus joint.
Oh, he shot a bunch of Marty.
Yeah.
The guy who shot the billiards movie.
He shot Goodfellas, Broadcast News.
Kidding me?
Yeah.
Broadcast News.
Departed.
Departed, Gangs in New York. Yeah, he did all of it.
Yeah, this movie rules. I really love it. It kind of made me wonder while watching it because this is like, it has a lot of like sports movie-isms to it while also still being like a little bit grimier. And Billiards is just like really cinematic, and I don't know why we don't get more. Like, I would so much rather watch pool on ESPN than like, I don't know, fucking cornhole or some shit. Like, give me like
They're showing cornhole on ESPN.
Yeah, every 4th of July after the hot dog eating contest, I watch cornhole.
That was all during like 2020 peak COVID. They had it on like all day.
Even just like, well, because that's like the first
sad.
thing that came back. That was the first return to work. Essential workers are cornhole players. But like even something like poker, like give me billiards instead. Just people playing pool, like the whole fucking 9-ball tournament that we'll get into at the end. I love that shit. I love just watching people play. I love in the actual pool halls. The fact that Tom is actually out there and you see him going on runs on the table, which now it makes sense knowing who Tom Cruise is as a person. That he's like, yeah, I'll jump out of a plane. Of course, I'll learn how to play fucking pool really good. Like, it makes all the sense in the
he was
world.
doing that shit like on the set of Top Gun.
We were wondering about some of the shots. Like, there's a lot of how did they do that kind of shots in this movie. There's a lot of, I can make a very educated guess that there's some magical cutting going on to an actual professional pool player.
Of course.
But then there's some stuff where it's like, Tom Cruise fucking did that shot. That's nuts.
We'll talk about the Werewolves of London scene, but that scene is just shot, edited, acted like just to perfection. It's so good. But it also is a callback to The Hustler, where Paul Newman is out there making the fucking shots in The Hustler. This, you can kind of tell they do have to edit around him a little bit more. He's a little bit older, maybe not as well seasoned in the pool game, but it kind of works with his character too.
I do wonder if maybe did they use like some magnetized balls?
I had that thought.
Yeah, that's how I would do it.
There was the one shot where the ball, like, he hits the ball and it goes forward and then rolls back.
That's just
and
a
I was
trick
like,
shot
there's
that
no
you
way that's a real thing that just happened.
No, that's a-
I'd watch a science
It would take
fiction
so
film.
many tries to get that.
Yeah, there are certain like it almost reminded me of like watching Whiplash as a drummer. Like there are certain shots where it cuts to Miles and it's like he clearly learned how to drum. He's doing a good job. And then other shots where it's like this is no longer Miles.
Yeah.
But there are some where it is not a cut. And it's so there is trickery going on because it is like a trick shot that would take you 30 years to learn. It's like a masse like around the table. Like it's shit that like even Cruise like would not be able to learn in like multiple years time. So you were saying like magnets, maybe?
That's how I would.
That's
If
the thought I had,
if
yeah.
I were Marty, that's how I would do. I would put a
believe it.
fucking magnet under the table.
Yeah, because just like the placement is just a little.
Yeah,
it's so
because
perfect.
there's so many factors where, like, with the camera and the lighting and like all these things, where you need that ball to move exactly how you want it to in front of that lens. That's a factor that if you can't control where the ball's moving, you're throwing out an entire day of shooting if you're trying to line up all these things.
So he's got the camera like floating above the table. I mean, I can't imagine. There's one shot where it dollies back over like 6 pool tables,
Yes!
and it's like, so you have a crane or you have a dolly that's
How
like
did they
on
do that?
in the sky. I don't understand
Because
what
you
you're
don't
doing
see
here.
the track, and this
Yeah.
was 86. They couldn't digitally erase the dolly track.
Hey, how about in the very end of the movie when the last scene of the movie, they're in a room surrounded by mirrors on all the walls and you don't see a camera. Like, the fuck, man? He's doing this on hard mode. He fucking is
like
bored by normal movie
It's
making.
like the oh, he don't have one song where he need to be wearing all that. It's like he don't have who don't have one
Exactly.
shot where you need to be doing all that. But
It's
he did.
because this is such like a in the scope of. I like the movie a lot. I thought it was really great, and in the scope of his career, it's definitely, I would say, a minor work. I mean, if we're talking like that.
That's kind of what I'm tossing
It
around in
also
my head,
might
yeah.
be his most like masturbatory movie because the camera work is at times like ridiculous. Where it's
It's
like,
like-
okay, dude, what are we doing?
No,
here?
yeah, it's like what it's about. Like watching the movie, it was like I'm mostly just like watching
Yeah.
what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like,
There's one shot where it's like when they first have kind of the big fight, and the camera follows Cruise out of the pool hall, and then he walks over to Paul in the car, and the camera stays on the corner of the car without
Yeah.
cutting, and then drives
away. Yeah, like it was like it moved onto a mount, and then they are doing the French Connection
And it
shot.
was 10
Like,
degrees when they shot that scene. I looked at it because I was like, I had to look into that shot, and it was like 10 degrees when they shot it.
You
Wow.
can tell it's cold as fuck because you can see their breath.
yeah, it really
like, in some of the
feels
shots.
like they're in like the shitty ass like Midwest.
Yeah,
you know, like
Nebraska.
Yeah, you can. They didn't shoot in Cali.
Yeah.
You know,
They're in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Right. Sure.
go.
I love this movie. I think that I was expecting it to be like a tier above Top Gun. I kind of went into it thinking, all right, it's Martin Scorsese. It's, all these things.
This
The
is
fucking
this is apples
shade
and
on Top
oranges.
Gun.
And-
How cares?
and
No,
it-
this
it
is two
ended-
different things we're talking
It
about.
ended up being kind of on the same level for me. And I'm wondering, sometimes there's some movies where I can immediately tell that it's going to be like a comfort watch, even if it is flawed. Like I can tell I'm going to be revisiting it. And I'm wondering with this one, if like, I'm not getting that feeling right off the jump, but there's still a chance that this movie, it's short. It's like less than 2 hours. There's nothing harrowing in it. There's nothing like really taxing about it. So even if I don't get that feeling immediately, I'm kind of left wondering, like, this might be like one to maybe throw on every once in a while.
I do think that's we all just watched this for the first time, so maybe it's speaking too soon for that. But I do think that there is something that is more rewatchable about this movie compared to a lot of other Scorsese movies, even Scorsese movies that are better, because a lot of Scorsese movies are kind of like, they're exhausting by the time you're done with it. You're
Yeah.
not just like,
But I like
sweet,
that.
Tuesday afternoon, I have 3 hours to throw on Silence. Like,
But
you're not just-
I just watched Silence for the first time this year.
Oh, really?
Fucking phenomenal movie. I just watched Kundun for the first time.
That's one I haven't
that's
seen.
a
this year.
comfort watch for you as Kundun.
Like those
Comfort
two
you couldn't do and you throw it on.
movies absolutely blew me away. And yes, they are very taxing movies. They're not ones to rewatch and just throw on casually.
Well, Silence is like an oddly quotable movie. I'm like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
walk around at work and I'm like, apostatize. Or then I go, I'm always like,
And
my
everyone's like,
mom's like a
"Oh,
big
it's
Catholic.
from that."
Yeah, everybody gets it. Yeah, everybody's like, the Silence quote.
That's so cool.
My mom's a big Catholic, and I'm always like, I feel like I'm praying to silence. So she hates it.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it's like Silence and Last Temptation of Christ are your most quotable.
Last
movies.
Temptation's better than Silence, but they're both bangers.
I haven't seen
That's-
Last Temptation.
Dude,
I
Last
gotta see
Temptation
it.
is amazing because
I need
Harvey
to.
Keitel plays Judas, and he does not change his voice at all. So he's in that movie, and he's like, Jesus, what the fuck are you doing, man? Are you fucking stupid?
That
Jesus,
rules.
get your shit together, man. It's
That
amazing.
rocks so hard. Willem Dafoe's just like going all in, like I am playing
Yeah.
this stoic as Jesus Christ. I'm playing this theatrical.
It's like
And Harvey's like,
Joe
I can't be
Pesci
bothered.
is like his.
Dude, well, literally, Paul Schrader wrote it, so it's literally like, what if Jesus was literally me? Like that's like what the movie is.
Wow.
Man,
Fucking Paul. What
love
a king.
Paul.
So let's get into some of the plots. So the movie pretty much starts off with a bang. Like we don't waste time. Like literally scene 1.
Yeah.
We meet our boys and they're meeting each other.
We meet
Tom-
Tom is like stimmed up. He's like millennial mode.
Whooping John Turturro's ass.
Yeah.
Just fucking wiping the floor with this dude.
Yeah, and he genuinely is like he's on like Vyvanse or something. You know, he's just like, God, someone's got to play me. Come on.
Well, they say that they're like doing coke and speed. At one point, Turturro gets caught with a little snuff.
I
on
don't.
his nose.
Yeah, but I don't think Cruz is.
Cruz isn't.
No.
Cruz is just like
He's
that.
not, but yeah, he metaphorically is. You know, he's channeling that energy.
He like
Cruz
if there
would
was
never.
a couch in front of him, he would jump on it.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Dude,
Cruz
I
doesn't
watched
need
that for the first time. That's the craziest thing ever.
It is insane. I tell everybody like you got to watch this thing if you have not seen this because
It's like,
it is insane.
The
There's
couch jump.
Like from that time period, the 90s, there's certain like television appearances where it's like this is crossed into like modern art where this is like up to interpretation and like thought. There's a video of Michael Jackson. I don't know if you guys know him, singer. Where it was his
From the
birthday.
Jackson 5?
From the Jackson 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that
I
kid.
think I heard
Where
of
Did
it.
he
he ever
rents
go on to
out-
make anything?
No, he never went on to do anything else after that.
cool.
But he rents out a grocery store for his birthday just to walk around in it, and he pays actors to ignore him so he feels like a normal person.
That's literally
And
a
then
joke
at the
in the
end-
other two.
At the end of the video, he gets in a car and he's like, "I'm hanging out with my best friend Brett Ratner," and it cuts, and the video ends, and it's like the craziest thing you'll ever see. Sorry, this is a total detour, nothing to do with Color of Money. I'm sorry, but
Patreon.
Jesus Christ.
Could we pay someone?
And the Patreon,
to,
we hang out with our best friend
yeah.
Brett Ratner.
Could we pay someone to pretend to be bad at pool, and we go in and
I
everyone's
like give him like fake money so I
Yeah.
can pretend to be hustled.
Hunter, how turned on were you by the idea of hustling, of gambling to the point where you're just riffing, you're just zinging? I knew you saw yourself in Paul Newman.
You know, I really did. I did watch this and think like, how could I pimp out my friends
Exactly.
and closest, my closest friends just for my profit?
I have a question about the Hustler. Actually,
Mhm.
does something happen to him at the end of the Hustler that kills his career?
yes.
Okay.
So yeah, it changes him. So Paul Newman in this, there in The Hustler, playing basically kind of like the Paul Newman role in this is George C. Scott,
Mhm.
who fucking rules
Yeah.
in that movie. And in that, George C. Scott kind of plays like the I don't even know what they're actually. I think he calls himself the handler
Yeah,
or
it's like
something like that.
The pimp of
he's
the
he's a
pool.
pimp. Yeah, he's basically pimping out his boys.
Mhm.
And that it's Minnesota Fats is like his top boy.
Mhm.
Who
Played by Jackie Gleason.
Jackie Gleason, who Paul Newman's like rivaling against. But Paul has a little bit of Tom in this movie where he's can become a little bit of a hothead.
Mhm.
So that is a thing about this movie where it's like, this is the best type of legacy sequel because it's not trying to fucking redo The Hustler. This is a very, very different movie from The Hustler, but instead it's just kind of like, what if we picked up 30 years later with this character? What would have happened? Or 25 years
So
later.
this sort of speaks to why maybe this movie doesn't quite have the legacy of other Scorsese's, in my opinion. I mean, there are a few reasons. Like you said, Ernest, this is like a super low stakes movie. Like it's not like
it's vibey.
No one's life is on the line
Yeah.
here. You might think, from time to time that there is. So maybe I'm
when
spoiling.
Paul Newman like forces himself
him
on
to, yeah, when he's like about to rape someone, or when he leaves Tommy Cruise to get his ass beat. But there's that, and then there's the fact that even when The Hustler dropped, like Poole was already on the way out because The Hustler. It's like a trivia thing that pops up everywhere that The Hustler like helped Poole have a little resurgence in the U.S., implying that it was already kind of dying in the U.S.
I mean, I do remember it wasn't on like ESPN when we were growing up, but it was on ESPN Classic.
it just
would play on there, and I'm assuming that was from like the 80s.
Well, and even then, but like pool hall culture in like 1986, I don't think was and that's sort of like that's addressed in the movie. Like they're Fast Eddie's taking them to these like dead.
He's just like no arcade games here. None of that shit.
He takes them to like a fucking furniture outlet accidentally or whatever that place is, which is very funny. But yeah, like so it's just like a weird like era mixer thing where we're set in such like a sleety, cold, like decrepit, like Midwestern US that it feels like 70s Scorsese.
Yeah.
But every single musical cue is so 80s.
Yeah.
Like you cannot take this movie out of the 80s.
I love the soundtrack in this.
I do. It's really funny. Like
some Clapton
in a movie that's like, because Scorsese, so many of his particularly music choices are complete, like they're eraless. You could, like Goodfellas, that could come out anytime because it's partially because it's a period piece. So like they're taking old ass music, but like I don't know, it's just such a strange mishmash. And like 80s Scorsese in general, like it's weird to watch a Scorsese movie with like soft lenses. Like it's a strange feeling because so much of what he does to me is like quick and like clinical and like sharp.
Yeah, exactly. The thing that kind of took me back the most was the font of the opening sequence.
I have a note about that font.
I almost turned the movie off.
I think it might be the second worst opening font I've ever seen in my life. Only second to Jack.
Oh yeah.
Because the Jack font is just really something special, but this is a close second.
I actually think this one might have been worse than Jack. It was really ugly.
There was another Robin movie that we watched that had full on Comic Sans font. I can't remember what it was.
Death to Smoochie?
Probably.
I think, was it Father's Day?
It might have been Father's Day, just full on Comic Sans.
No, maybe it was Smoochie.
I think it's Smoochie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, the rest of that movie is a masterpiece. Yeah, so
Danny D directing.
Yeah.
Right.
Our boy.
Yeah.
The DeVito.
King. So real quick, I mentioned this earlier, but there are just no billiards movies. Like this is a non-existent genre. Like beyond The Color of Money and The Hustler, it's slim pickings. Apparently Infinity Pool. No.
What?
No.
Well, pool is in the title.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, that's the best scene in the movie is when he goes swimming because they're like, "This is pool."
Right.
It's like we gotta have pool. The pool.
Hi, Mr. Infinity. Here's the pool.
I made the same mistake last night, and it was like Lady in the Water.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that movie's awful.
There's a movie called Turn the River.
Sorry, I'm not.
That sounds
from
like
2007.
a poker movie. No,
no, it's they're showing the lady doing the pool thing.
Okay.
Something called Walk Away Joe with Jeffrey Dean Morgan and David Strathairn.
That's a cool name.
Walk Away Joe.
Something called Virgin Pockets.
The real question is here, like, I do want to figure out what, because it's not billiards. Unfortunately, if any of us are going to learn to hustle and pool, it's going to be Drew. I do not have the talent. I could pimp him out, but that would be it. I need to figure out what.
This is what I'm trying to get at. You have the Paul Newman and you have the Tom Cruise. We need to find it.
Right. I just have to figure out, because for myself, I don't know if I have like one skill that I could like whore myself out enough for.
But you want to gamble.
And
bad.
Here's the thing. I could be really good at getting connections for you, Drew. Like I could get you into places.
As long as you take more than half of the money.
I can get you
That's
to
the only way I'll do it.
3 months.
We could pimp you out doing like playing platformer video games or something.
There you go. Yeah.
Literally right after this movie ended, we watched the Pool Shark episode of Drake and Josh. I just fired it.
Yeah, he put it on right after,
like immediately.
Great. Yeah, it's a
great double feature.
It's a great one too.
Well, because the ending of this movie is like it's such like a kind of like. It kind of knocks you around a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
You think it's going one way and then it goes another. So I was like, I need to settle.
I was like, give me some more billiards action. That's right when the game starts.
Well, I love too that the I mean, obviously there's like the character. We know more about the characters, but really the message of the movie isn't pool fucking awesome. Like that's really what the movie's about. Is like pool's sick, and if you're good at it, it's fun. You know,
it does kind of have. We're jumping around a little bit, but jumping to the end. The ending message of the movie is a little bit weird because it's not necessarily like shame on you, Paul Newman, for turning our boy Tom Cruise.
They're addicted to gambling.
Yes, but then it kind of is about like the joy and the beauty of the game of pool.
Well, that's what you think it's gonna be. I would have sided with that.
Yeah, because he takes the dive. Like he
exactly. So
I think it's like Paul Newman and Tom Cruise have like completely switched.
Yeah,
places.
they flip flops. Yeah.
There's an inversion that happens.
Like Tenet.
Exactly like Tenet. It's actually just like Tenet.
Everybody's saying this, that Tenet was directly inspired by Color of Money.
So yeah, see, we only just watched this last night, and I'm still trying to get my head around this because, like, I still don't know how I feel about the ending of the movie because I like how the characters get inverted, and Paul goes from being the all money gambling guy to the guy that just wants to play the game and love it. And Tom is the other way. He's the one who just wants to win and play to the guy that's now all in on the money. Mm-hmm. And I liked how it looked like it was going to be that we're going to spoil the movie now. Paul Newman forfeits the tournament because Tom Cruise bet on himself to lose in their matchup. And so Paul is going to walk away, go to the Bahamas and enjoy his life and accept the fact that he's an older man now and this isn't his area anymore. He's moved on from this world and this life, and he's ready to kind of relax and enjoy, a time of leisure with his lady. And then, not so fast. Yeah. I'm actually gonna jump directly back into this and keep this fucking train going.
Facts. It's a really interesting, like the up and down of the story. It doesn't follow like a very traditional path at all.
And the movie just kind of ends. It's like they hit the balls and we cut to credits and that's it. And you're kind of left. And I think that's a very Marty thing to do, to kind of just like kind of make you think it's going in another way and then kind of kick you in the nuts and then leave.
Well, that's also a very 80s movie thing to do, is because if this movie was made in 1976, not 1986, then the movie ends where the roles are reversed and both of them are left in a worse place than where it started. Mm-hmm. Like that is kind of, I think, like, I'm not saying that there was like an original script of this movie because this came out 10 years later. I'm sure they had more of a happy ending, or at least more of a neutral ending in mind, but that is like an 80s thing. I'm thinking about something like Tootsie, which came out, I think, 2-3 years before this, that has kind of a similar thing where you think it could end in like a dark negative place, and then they're just like, nope, we're actually all going to learn something from this and we're going to stick together and tough this out, and then roll credits. And you're like, wait, what? We didn't have to like dead sprint to the finale to get under 2 hours here. Like you could have let things breathe a little bit.
I mean, before we even get to that, it's just very like, I was really liking how it was taking its time in the beginning with like getting them going as like an operation. Like
I love the first chunk of this movie.
You see so many failures of the three of them to successfully do something. Yeah. And it's just like, would you guys, and what you're thinking is once they finally start gelling and Tom gets it and starts like flopping, then they're gonna like have this meteoric rise. And that's exactly when the movie splits in two.
Mm-hmm. And we don't follow Tom. I don't know if I really like that. I'm still trying to make up my mind about how I feel about that, because I wanted to see Tom in the second half of this movie and he's just not around.
He's not gone for that long. You just get that little montage moment.
It feels a lot. It's because I was wondering, I was on the drive over, I was like, it'd be interesting if they did another sequel where Tom Cruise takes the Paul Newman role and it's kind of like a passing the baton, but he's already in Top Gun. He already did that essentially, or Top Gun 2 rather.
Well, Tom Cruise is now the same age that Paul Newman was when The Color of Money came
out.
out.
Who he's giving it to? Timmy T.
I'd watch the shit out of that.
That'd be sick.
But we need to wait at least another 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Timmy T acting all stemmed up with a pool stick. Yeah, it's too easy.
Let's go.
But I think
easy money.
I mean, it might be as simple as, I think this movie boils down to like, this one's for the dads. Like, this is like, get the fuck out of here, Tom Cruise. Paul Newman's the man. Yeah. He's the best pool player. He's gonna keep on going.
He's gonna cry a little bit, and you're gonna be like, "Whoa!"
I do think though, like,
and then a little twink is gonna be like, "I've got a golden ticket."
I think, like, I don't know. This movie still felt a little bit of baton passing, even if Newman is the star of it. Pool cue passing.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Well, what's it called? The Baba Ganoush?
Baba Ganoush.
I think it's a Baba Bushka.
Baba Bushka.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with a babushka.
No, never forget
Bala
Baba Bushka.
Bala Hasbula.
It's
baby
Bala.
Gronk. I don't know what it's
It's
called.
a baby Gronk.
It's a baby Gronk.
It's a baby Diggs. No, I think this is still was feeling like a baton, a torch passing moment, especially whenever you just consider 1986. Like this is, well, we'll get to it in a little bit, I'm sure, but this is Paul Newman's 7th nominee for Best Actor. He finally breaks through and wins. Paul Newman, 8 nominations. Best Actor nominations, only winning 1 time is a tragedy. But like
It was like a makeup
yeah.
situation.
But I mean, he is incredible in this movie. It's not a pure makeup.
I loved him in this movie. I thought he was fantastic.
It's not a pure makeup, but still, it is one of those things where you can kind of feel Tom Cruise like taking over scenes of this movie and comparing that to something like Top Gun Maverick, where I think going into it, circa like 2018, everybody was like, this is going to be the baton passing moment from Tom Cruise to Miles Teller. And it was like, not quite. Tom Cruise is like, this is still my fucking baton.
Yeah, I'm
holding
fucking
on to this.
Maverick.
Going back fucking, what was it, 10 years ago at this point, people were just like, oh, Tom Cruise is going to pass the franchise of Mission Impossible over to Jeremy Renner. And he said, no, the fuck I'm not.
Well, he's
And-
also, Cruise is like representing like a new type of like masculinity in this because he's like pretty cucked the whole movie.
Well, he's cucked, but also
He's so pissed about it.
Well, that's something in The Hustler too. There's kind
It
of
is?
an undercurrent
Cool.
of cuckery in that film.
Yeah.
It's
Just the whole thing of being pimped out.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
is Fast Eddie like such like a fucking weirdo in that movie though? Like
No,
Tom
well,
Cruise is weird in this
Fast
movie.
Eddie's like a Marlon Brando character. He's like this
Yeah.
very like loud, kind of like he gives speech. He's excellent in the movie. And then George C. Scott is kind of like if Paul Newman was evil. Like he's kind of Paul Newman is kind of neutral in this movie. He approaches being a bad guy.
Because George C. Scott just plays.
Yeah, George C.
evil
Scott's
naturally.
just like, I hate I'm
Well,
gonna
in this,
kill you. You know.
I loved seeing Tom get played. Like those were some of the best scenes of the movie for me, where it's just like he's just such a little idiot.
He's such a little shithead, and like Tom Cruise plays shithead so good, and like he's also really good
and
especially-
naive too.
He's really good in this like early stage of his career of being like the coolest person in the room and also like such a fucking dweeb loser at the same time. Like I don't know,
it's great
how he is able to do this balancing
This
act
is-
unlike pretty
yeah.
much anybody else that I've ever seen.
This is a movie where like he sounds a lot like Ben Stiller's impression of him, where it's like like that. Like he sounds fucking annoying. And I don't know. I love it in this. Like I think he does an awesome job. But yeah, it's less baton passy because I don't think that like any leading man in the 60s would play such a fucking weirdo like in that particular way. And I think it's
You mean 80s?
No, I'm saying it's
In The Hustler.
Like, yeah, in that old era, like you would be like a Brando type, like you would just be
Gotcha.
like big and brash.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You wouldn't just be this fucking like dork ass who's
Especially as a lead. Yeah. I mean, maybe one of the side people. Did you want to look at the rest of the Oscars? Because I want to talk about Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, who was also nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
I don't have them pulled up in front of me. So the year is 1986.
Yeah, so this movie gets obviously actor, supporting actress. It also got nominated for screenplay and art direction.
nothing for Marty, huh?
Nothing for Marty. This was the year of Platoon.
Yeah.
So that was Oliver Stone all up in there.
So it's Sheen Best Supporting Actor this year?
Michael Caine for Hannah and Her Sisters.
Oh.
Who directed that? Setting you up.
Some guy.
Some guy.
Some
Was
bloke.
Sheen nominated for Platoon?
And lost to Newman. No, he was not nominated. Wow.
Awesome.
I want to talk about Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. She is so good in this movie. I love her from The Abyss. It's really just this and The Abyss is kind of like the only major parts that she did. I don't know what she's doing now. I guess she was also in Scarface.
The Limitless TV series. Excuse you.
No way. Oh my God. Okay. So at least she's getting a little paid. She does a really good job at being like the hard edge in the dynamic, right? Where you have these two boys who love each other but also can't stand each other, and she's not really kind of the glue in between them. She's more kind of the rubber band that just kind of goes back and forth and you know, kind of tears it up a little bit, and she has kind of her spunk and her attitude with it, and there's so much fun in those scenes where she's just like not giving a single fuck, just literally showing her ass to Paul Newman, just not giving a fuck.
But too, the
really
Paul
good.
Newman's girlfriend, I forget the actress who plays her, but
She
she's
rocks.
also really great. In the
Yeah, I
movie.
love her.
Yeah, more tender, more sweet. She's kind of, I felt that she
Helen
was,
Shaver.
there was something a little tough there where I felt like she was kind of getting hustled a little bit by Paul, where I felt a little bad for her. I didn't feel that way towards Mastrantonio.
But I think it's just a thing that Paul is just so good, going back his entire career, at just like having, it's like a combination of Riz and then also just like, it feels manipulative.
Yeah.
But in like a way that you're
Exactly.
like, I want to be manipulated. Like, come on,
That was
fucking
the way to
use
be
me.
back then.
Use me and abuse me.
That
Like,
was
let's
My,
go.
my father used to work in a hotel in Pittsburgh, and they were filming. I don't know what movie Paul Newman was filming, but he was staying at the hotel, and he said Paul Newman went to check in, and the lady at the counter was like, I don't know what it's called at a hotel. The clerk, the reception. I don't know. What
Concierge.
the concierge was like, Paul. He had sunglasses on, and Paul Newman
These
was famous.
sunglasses
Not
from-
the ones from this movie.
They're
Oh,
great.
They're so
And
cool.
Paul was famous for his baby blue eyes. I don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah.
And she went,
They're
Paul,
sexy.
can I just see your eyes? I just take the sunglasses off. And he goes, if I take the sunglasses off, my pants will fall down.
Fucking king. Absolute king.
God
man.
damn, that's not
R.I.P.
even
to a legend.
fair.
Yeah.
That is so unfair. That's too much Riz.
He's just
That's
so
too much
handsome.
Riz.
too.
It's too
It's too much
powerful.
Riz. Yeah.
Well, literally, there's so many scenes in this movie where I'm like, he's too fucking hot right now.
He's
like,
too
this
hot.
is unbelievable.
Yeah, to be like an old guy wearing
Yeah.
those shades
Yeah.
is like so hard. Can you imagine any of us trying to wear those?
No way.
We would all look so stupid.
Or even some of the other
So
fits,
ugly.
like the just the regular
Uh-huh.
collared shirt with the sweater over it. I'm like, this
It's-
is. He could easily just look like an elderly man, and
Mm-hmm.
he's still rocking.
But the thing is, like, Paul Newman's like one of the rare breeds where it's not like, oh, he like got hotter as he got older. He was also just like this stunningly like sculpted from marble whenever fucking 25 years earlier in The Hustler. Like, and there wasn't like a weird awkward transition period from young to old. It was just like, he's just got it. He's just got the swag in whatever he does.
Well, too, that this is post Cool Hand Luke, where that's like the pinnacle of Paul Newman is fucking hot in this movie. He's just cool. We built the whole movie around how cool he is.
That is
How
the
much you
purpose of
just
Cool
like
Hand
looking
Luke.
at him, you know? I mean, there's a scene where he just eats eggs in that movie, and they're like, he's not going to eat eggs. He's like, I'm going to eat eggs.
He will never eat eggs.
That's that's legitimately, I can't tell you how accurate that is. That's what the scene is about. Is he goes, I'm going to eat 60 eggs. And they go, you can't eat 60 eggs. And then he eats 60 eggs. And then when he's done eating the eggs, he's laying down like Jesus. They cut to a God shot of him in the prison like Jesus,
God.
full of eggs.
Full of eggs.
This is like the main storyline, right?
This is it's
the
amazing.
egg eating.
That's how he gains the respect of everybody in the prison.
I need to rewatch Cool Hand Luke. I
Cool
haven't
Hand
seen
Luke's
it since
amazing.
like college. It's, man, what a guy.
woo.
What a guy.
All right. So, any other thoughts on the movie before we get to the categories?
I gotta say, there is an amazing, maybe an all-time freak out from Tom Cruise in this movie.
Yes.
When they're arguing on the stairs and Tom Cruise
Yeah.
goes to
rips
snap,
the
yeah, and he
banister.
rips the banister. He goes to snap the pool cue, doesn't do it, awkwardly puts it on the floor and like rolls down the stairs. I was like, where is that? But you need to do more of that.
I don't think, I have a feeling that like that was at least partially improvised.
Yeah.
Because the way that he ripped
Yeah.
the banister
It looks
off
real.
there, it looks real, and it kind
Yeah.
of looks like on set, like you can kind of see in the actor's face, they're like, did he just fucking break the set?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I hope that we got it, that shot. Jesus.
Yeah, there's a lot of great location scouting in this movie.
Yeah.
Like so many. The one pool hall with the two levels, you know,
Great
when
stuff.
Newman is
Oh,
up above
That's
watching
so,
him get
where he like
hiding.
just
Well, I've
learns,
never been in
learns
a
to not
building
ease
that
up on the
looks
guy.
anything like that. Like what is the layout there? It's so
especially
cool.
for like a public place, you know, where you're, you know,
Yeah.
kind of open it up for business.
It's
not
yeah,
really like that.
a lot of it just all feels very lived in and
Yeah.
very cool.
We'll talk about some of my thoughts whenever we get to the categories here, but the way that Vincent twirls the fucking pool cue around like nunchucks is so cool. And so lame at the
That's the thing. Is if I saw a guy doing that at Sportstown, I'd be like,
I'm pretty sure that there's a guy at Sportstown who I've seen doing that before. I've been like, the fuck does this guy think
he's wearing
he
a shirt with his name on it?
Yeah. Also, the Vince shirt.
Yeah, that
Vince
rocks.
shirt is so cool. I know that was a thing before I knew that this movie existed. I knew that Brendan Flowers from The Killers used to wear a Vince shirt.
Boy.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That was just a thing like way back in like
That's gangster.
maybe even like Samstown days.
He's allowed to do that because he's from Las Vegas. It's a billiards
Yeah,
town.
bro plays pool.
It's a billiards town.
Yeah.
He gets it.
He'll sing a song about how it's billiards town and how hard it is for it to be billiards town and how actually it like
He
weighs
doesn't
down.
look a thing like Vincent,
Yep.
but he plays like a gentleman.
Yeah, I love the vibe of him working at a toy store and being like
Child World.
being an
Child World,
absolute
yeah.
Did you guys all grow up going to Child World?
that's where I got my stuff.
So many memories.
being like an absolute stone cold killer salesman at Child World. Like he's like good
Got
as
him
hell.
$15 off, dude.
Like working at like a fucking car dealership at least.
I think it makes it so much better. Just Tom Cruise playing any level of like neurodivergent in any way is just my favorite version of Tom. Also, I know we're grading him on his we're gonna have a category where it's like rating his hair and his eyebrows and his teeth, because those are on one in this. But I want to talk about Tom Cruise's smile, because I realized while watching this,
It's a little scary.
His wry smile is like the Grinch.
Yeah.
It's like the animated Grinch movie whenever he smiles, and you're like, there's something sinister behind that.
Yeah, there's
behind
one.
that. I don't
There's
like
one
what I'm
scene in
seeing there.
particular where like it keeps cutting between. It goes like from Paul to Tom, and he's still smiling.
I mean, we're not full set yet with the veneers.
Yeah.
We're still like I'm telling you.
Going back to the one pool hall, Chalky's.
Chalky's.
I want to go to Chalky's.
Yeah.
Chalky's is
I don't care what kind of bad neighborhood it's in. I don't care how.
You're definitely getting mugged
Like,
leaving Chalky's.
I want to go to Chalky's. I want Hunter to talk to the guy about the odds that they have for each player.
That rocked. That was something just for me.
Like, this guy is keeping a chart of the betting odds for every single player.
I did also. Well, I counted. I believe me. I caught that it's 4-1 odds betting on Vincent. I don't care who it is. If it's a stranger and I walk in there and there's 4-1 odds on anybody, then I'm taking that bet. And
that's why you're the greatest gambler known
And
to
that's how
man.
I'm out here. I'm out here, and I definitely didn't have to take out a second mortgage on my house that I don't own.
But by the way, speaking of Chalkies, we're sort of getting a low key between Robin series and this. We're getting a low key Bill Cobb series in.
Hey, our boy.
The king is in Night at the Museum.
Yeah.
He's one of the epic old men.
Yeah, he's also a character in The Hustler. Orvis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so when he meets back up and they're like, "You son of a
callback.
bitch."
Yeah, it's like,
cool.
I
That's
took
cool.
over the
That's
place.
cool. So-
yeah, that's a callback.
So hit us with more Hustler things. Is the pool cue something?
He has the.
Does he?
No, I don't think he does actually.
I don't remember him talking about the babushka.
Because in 1980...
That's the thing about the movie. Sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Well, that's the thing about the movie that surprised me is that there's, aside from Orville's character name, Orvis, there's like no references to the film at all.
Well, that's what I was about to ask.
It ends in a very, I mean, you're talking about it ends in a very big way, and the character, like the movie literally ends with the character being like, I will never be the same.
Yeah.
And then they never reference what happens in it.
Spoiler for the end of The Hustler, which you can watch it without even hearing this spoiler, but his like love interest in it fucking kills herself in The Hustler.
Because he's too good at pool.
Because and George C.
Oh
Scott
my
is basically
God.
just like, you should get the fuck out of his life because he'll never be the player that he should be as long as you're here.
That's tough.
It's kind of like Elvis.
George C. Scott
you know?
rules.
Yeah.
It's like
Just
Elvis'
like
mom
Elvis.
type thing.
Just
He's
like Elvis.
Or like Stars Born.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
you know?
Yeah.
You're so
Goose.
fucking ugly.
You're ugly.
One last shout out. Our boy Forrest Whitaker.
I was just going to say,
great
yeah.
cameo.
Kills it in like
That's a great
3
scene.
minutes, like just going in there, and it's Eddie actually getting hustled.
Yeah.
Then it's just like the slow realization that he is now on the fucking receiving end
Yeah.
of the hustle is so cool.
That's
is.
a really good scene.
It's a- so
he's
cool.
good. He's great in Good Morning Vietnam too. Young
Yeah.
Forrest was sort of a force. He was really
I think
fun.
that this is only his second role after Fast Times, like his second big role after Fast Times.
Is this before Good Morning?
Yeah, Good Morning's 87.
Okay.
So this is a year before
He's really
that.
the year before.
In Fast Times, isn't he mostly just like a big guy? Like,
But I mean, that's
no, I know, but like, he's I really, really enjoyed him.
It's a really great scene because you are right there with Paul. You don't know.
Yeah, you're like,
You
this
don't know.
fucking
I know,
guy.
and well, and
Yeah.
we're so like, as a society, we're so like oceans pilled that I was waiting for Paul to be like, huh, just kidding, like, you know, like once Vincent and her leave, he's like, yeah, they think that I just got fucked over. I didn't, but the way also. Something that really struck me a lot of times in this movie is the way that Paul Newman plays vulnerability. I think was like a direct reference point for Cranston, and when he's playing Walter White, like it's so crazy similar.
Yeah,
all the little mannerisms, the voice is like sort of an exact match. Very cool. He's just cool. Watching him cry was like, you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to. You're supposed to
it's
be
great.
okay, man. You're
To
supposed to be fine.
I have a fun fact about it before if we go into the category. I got one. There's the quote when he gets the balabushka, and he goes, "What's in there?" and he opens it and he says, "Doom." That's where
Yeah. What
that's
do
where
you
the
got in
game
there?
Doom got the name from.
Yeah.
It's
Are
a
you
direct
serious?
reference to that. Yeah.
Oh, that's so
That's
cool.
in the Wikipedia.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
we read
That's-
the Wikipedia.
What's
I
in
just saw
here?
that.
Doom.
That's so cool.
All right, so categories. Okay. So as we established last episode with Top Gun, changing up the categories a little bit. Open to adding stuff, starting small. Got a lot of movies to go. This can expand. But so far, we're really just focused on objectifying our Toms physically.
Okay.
That's kind of the meat of this Tom sandwich here. Okay.
I want to objectify this man as much as possible.
So first, pretty easy. Tom swap. Could the other Tom do this role? Could Hanks jump in here? and
Better
do this
than
role?
he could have in Top Gun. This would have gone better than that because this guy's just like a weird guy. However, no.
I don't think so. Could Tom Hanks now play the Paul Newman role?
No, because he's ugly.
No, I just don't think
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
He's very ugly.
That's hard.
I don't know if Tom. I mean, unless I'm forgetting something, Tom Hanks has never really done anything.
Like a sports movie?
I mean, I think Road to Perdition is his like most like. I mean, not to
It
say
said,
I don't know how to.
Angels in the outfield. Not Angels in
Nope.
the outfield.
League of Their Own?
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own.
Sorry, I got Angels in the outfield in my brain.
Forrest Gump plays football.
Forrest
Yeah.
Gump. Yeah. I just don't know if Tom Cruise can play like.
Is he an athlete?
I don't know. I'm not to say Tom Cruise is never Tom Cruise. I'm slurring my speech here, but not saying that
Slip
Tom
slop.
Cruise is not Tom. I'm fucking out of my mind.
Tom Hanks. Yeah,
Tom Hanks.
The other Tom.
My-
We are doing
the
a series
greatest
about two
actor.
Toms.
Yeah, I got it all
which is
mixed
our
up.
problem.
You can't just call him Tom.
Dude, the Toms. Hanks. I'm Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks. I don't know if he's ever played a role like. Has he ever been like unlikable in a movie? He usually plays like this guy's the greatest guy, unless it's Elvis. He's like usually the greatest guy ever.
I think a big part of why Hanks is even a movie star is because he's always likable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
No matter
'cause
what.
that's kind of one of his things that's like the good
Unless
and the
he's
bad
Geppetto.
of Hanks is that he doesn't have that. Yeah.
That's the one time he's...
Better question. Could Chet Hanks play the Tom Cruise
Yes,
character? Yeah.
absolutely.
Just speaking Rasta voice out here.
Look,
I won't do an impression.
I
That's for the
would,
Patreon.
I will. No, I'm kidding.
I would watch Forrest Gump play pool. I'd do it.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be fun.
He plays ping pong.
It wouldn't be the same movie.
No, I think pool takes too much knowledge. Where ping pong is like so kind of like
Yeah.
That's so
I'm gonna
disrespectful.
degrade the pool heads,
No,
the
go for
ping
it.
pong heads here. But like it's
What about how
it's
he's
a
like
dull
the-
man's game? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll say it. It's for the dunces.
Well, it's nine
okay?
ball. It's 9-ball, okay?
No,
So-
9-ball. So 9-ball does rule. 9-ball is like the best game if it's just two
Ugh.
boys playing.
9-ball's only good if you're good at pool. Like
Oh.
we can't play 9-ball
Well,
because
Drew, I'm
like
gonna
it's
need you
just
to change-
whoever's at the end just
Drew,
wins.
I'm gonna need you to change that fucking attitude before we get out to the hall. Okay.
Okay.
We're going on tour tonight in the storm.
For 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Pack a bag, buddy.
We're driving.
First Atlantic City, then
Yeah.
Dallas.
No one tell your wives.
And you're gonna bomb against we gotta what's this guy's name?
Oh, that's one of my
Seasons.
River Seasons.
River Seasons.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's way weirder.
It was such a.
It's a
fun name.
Gravy Stevens.
It's Gray something.
Grady.
Grady Seasons.
Okay.
Grady Seasons. No,
That's fucking Grady Seasons
great.
over
no.
there.
So Grady
I
Seasons.
stayed at a Grady
So
Seasons.
that is a real pool player.
Okay,
like a
that
rule,
makes sense.
It's a rule.
That
he's a
explains
real.
a lot.
He's a real famous.
So I was
pool
looking at
player.
that guy. I'm like,
You-
you look like a guy.
You can't name a character Grady Seasons. Wait, are you saying that guy is a real pool player, or the name,
actor.
or the name is a real pool name?
The actor Keith McCready.
Keith
is a
McCready is a real
professional
guy, and
billiard.
Grady
Well, he's-
Seasons is a
You know, he's
character.
certainly no model.
No, whenever we talk about best scenes of the movie, his scene, like Tom and his scene together, is one of my favorite scenes.
I know,
in the
and
movie.
it also
he
serves.
like breaks him.
Well, it also serves as like a crucial pivot point for Paul Newman, because Paul just gets so swept up watching him cook.
Yeah.
He's not even mad. He's
And-
like, "Fuck, I gotta play."
Yeah,
pool.
Mastrantonio's like, what are you doing? Fucking meditating?
Yeah,
That's gonna be-
Like, a good moment.
It's gonna be Tom Brady in like week 4 this year. Oh, he's just gonna be like calling up San Francisco, like, please.
That was
Get me
that was
back
a
in there.
really good quote when she's like, if you win this game, you're gonna be humping your fists for a long time.
Yeah.
That was so
The
good.
first visual that went through my head was very like prostate oriented.
Can I tell you how
I was like,
much,
did they have that
how
back
much I
then?
thought about that? I like kind of had to like humping.
I
your
know. I was like,
fist.
did guys?
Like,
Did men have
punching
prostates?
yourself in the balls?
back in the day.
So yeah, no, she really does cook in this movie. I was a big fan of hers.
It's a great energy.
Yeah, it's
The three of them, the dynamic.
yeah,
is
it
awesome.
really is, because you don't know where it's gonna go with her and Paul. Like there is a true, he's into it. That's why he like fake assaults her, is because he's like, listen, you're getting me horny, and I don't like it.
Knock it
it.
off.
Put that ass away, young lady.
Literally, yeah.
Dude, but who hasn't been there? You know what I mean?
I know.
Who hasn't
Right.
been an Asian
I mean,
pool
it was
player?
out. She was just lounging
Yeah.
around.
Oh, Ernie, are you saying that she's asking for it now? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying she's asking for it. I'm saying it's a power move.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying she is like, look what I can do.
Dude, well,
I've got you wrapped around my finger.
She does the, she's in the shower. She got her boobus out, She
Mhm.
knows, there's,
Exactly.
there's some subtext going on,
It's very Florence Pugh coded.
That was
Yeah.
that was I really like the way that was sort of orchestrated. I don't want to say shot because it's just
It's
one shot,
tasteful.
but yeah, like her in the mirror just staring, and then
topless. yeah.
Tommy doesn't see it. That was cool.
Mhm.
Cool movie.
Well, he sees it. He's just an idiot.
he doesn't know. He's like,
just a little dummy.
So, Tom Cruise in this movie, just like the worst type of like possessive boyfriend guy.
yeah, but I
well,
mean,
they're both like triggering him on purpose, like over and over.
But also, like, he sucks. Like,
well, of
just
course,
out
he's like
and
a
out,
kid.
it's-
Like even like she looks like 10 years older than him.
but even
he's like
yeah.
a child.
But
He's
like
simple.
the first time, whenever he gets the what the fuck is the pool called? The pool stick called
The
again?
balabushka.
The balabushka. Whenever he gets the balabushka, that whole scene where he's just like, "Where'd you go?" And she's like, "I went to the bathroom, and then I went across the street to buy cigarettes. Is that okay?" And like, he's like, the way that he's like grabbing her is like playing
It's
like
tough.
he's playing like weirdly possessive boyfriend,
Yeah.
like really
well,
good.
because he's insecure.
Like I've
Yeah.
seen guys like that
Right.
out and about, and it's like, this is bad. We need to get her out of this
I
situation. But
love-
she's like almost inviting it.
I
in a
didn't
way
think he
that's
was
really
insecure
fun.
at all. I thought he was being a good boyfriend. I thought he was really kind of, stepping in when things
Whenever
get
I
out of
said I've
line.
seen that before, I meant like
'Cause
just
where did she
specifically
go?
with people at this
Yes.
table.
I love that scene because you can tell without they do a very good job because you don't hear what Paul Newman says to her. You just see that he whispers something. in her
you
ear.
just know they're cahooting.
Well, not necessarily at that point in the movie. Not necessarily that they're cahooting, because at that point Paul hasn't brought her into.
She almost
The
looks
hustle.
like offended by him saying
He
something.
must
like
have-
her face almost looks like a little bit disgusted.
He must have told her something along the lines of, "Oh yeah, Vince came around looking for you. He seemed like he was freaking out about where you were," or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Something to trigger her decision to be like, "Oh, I get to do whatever the fuck I want. He doesn't control me." So he's playing it. He's he's working it. That some of my favorite parts of this movie is just seeing Paul Newman like manipulate people.
Yeah.
Like it's just really good. It's real nice. Okay. Most iconic moment is the next category. What is the most iconic moment in this movie? Again, we only just saw it the one time, so I don't know if we have a good gauge.
Not an ultra, it's not Top Gun levels of iconic in general.
Well, are we still doing a best scene, or is this both?
We can split best scene and most iconic.
There
moment.
were Werewolves of London scene, like everything leading up to that, and then him just like whooping the shit out of Moselle. Just all of that rocks. Like him first getting to Chalkies and being told like you're not allowed to take him on. You have to like take the dive so that you can take this other person's money. Him leaving, him coming back, taking on Moselle, and just like dominating him while like fucking spinning the cue around like a pair of nunchucks while singing Werewolves of London, and then just like actually one shot going around and you can see him just running a fucking rack. And then from that leading straight into the shot outside where it's Paul Newman giving the whole he has like a whole great speech about I don't have his speech pulled up in front of me about just like money won is like 2 times better than money earned and everything else. Like all of that together, that whole sequence is just my favorite part of the movie.
What about you, Jim?
I think I got to agree with them on that. I mean, that's the best. That's where the Marty kind of the maestro element is at play, where it is like, wow, he's really just, this is easy for him, And then it's like the kind of the song works perfectly, Cruise singing along to it, and then kind of like you said, where it's Paul Newman watching it being like, fuck, pool's so cool.
Yeah, it's so good.
Iconic moment though, like just a single moment, I might say the ending of the movie, because that's like, for me, that was where I was like, kind of a Scorsese being like, I directed this, it's like him being like, because I mean, Scorsese loves to like end his movies and be like, so you have to decide what happens next. Yeah. And to me, that's like, that for me, that was where I was like, kind of like, okay, I can kind of see what, because too, it ends and you're kind of like, huh? Like it's like, you're kind of like, oh, okay. And I heard that it had a good ending too. Yeah. So I was like, oh, it's going to be this epic face off between the two of them, and it's almost unsatisfying, and it's unresolved.
Let you see it.
I do agree though that I liked the decision to end it there. It's just beforehand I wish that it had reached a different. It's
like inverse Uncut Gems, where it's like we're not even gonna end it. We're just gonna.
It's just like if this movie had come out in the 70s, or if someone like Schrader had fucking written it, it would have gone deeper into like. Either Paul's like addiction to like hustle to gambling on pool.
He would have been journaling,
or there would have been like
drinking Pepto-Bismol.
I mean, the natural route is like a full blown Newman affair with her. Like there are so many places that it could have gone deeper into, but ultimately, like you said, this is for the dads. Like it's not we're not trying to vibes. We're not trying to get too fucked up, and that's okay.
Most iconic moment to me is the shot of the camera flying over all the pool tables.
That's a good one.
Oh,
like I was just like, what the fuck? This is nuts.
Yeah, I want to see the rig. I want to see how they do that. Yeah.
Another like capital S shots moment is the reflection of Paul Newman in the the like 8-ball or whatever it is that he's shooting on.
Yeah, that's just like an overlay edit. Like you don't get reflections like that in a damn ball.
That's so cool. I love it.
There were so many shots where I was like, holy shit.
Everything.
Wow.
Everything about like the way that the pool was shot, the 9-ball tournament and everything else. I wanted more 9-ball tournament, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I would have taken like a sequel to this that's just them like going on the US billiards tour.
Yeah.
And just like fucking taking people down in the practice room.
There's another great shot where the camera starts at the very top of that hall and it just comes all the way down to the back of Paul's head. I was like, fuck. That's sick.
So it kind of fall. There's not many pool movies, but that's why this feels a lot more like something like kind of a like that. The Mississippi Grind came out a few years ago, and there's like California Split, even Uncut Gems. It kind of falls into that
Rounders.
Rounders. It kind of falls into that seedy kind of gambling, kind of not kind of game type thing,
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Molly's Game.
Molly's Game.
Some might say it is Molly's Game.
This is a lot like Molly's. This is kind of like Molly's Game.
This is Polly's Game.
This is Polly's Game. Hey,
21.
21.
Any 20? Are we still
Hey,
allowed?
Listen,
slots are for
my Jim
suckers.
Sturgis boy.
Hey, now you see me.
Now you see me. Now you see me too.
Do they gamble in that movie?
No.
Oh, okay.
They gamble with their
God,
lives.
if there was gambling but also magic involved, that's like the two sides of my personality really coming together. Like sleight of hand, like this is your card.
That movie is so fucking insane. Like the way that they edit all like the card tricks. Oh my god. Marty should have done more of that. You know, I hate.
It's not too late.
I hate to backseat.
Could he
drive
make
with-
Now You Don't? Because they fucking blew the most golden opportunity ever to make
That's
a
it.
sequel to Now You See Me. They just called it Now You See Me 2 and not Now You
Look,
Don't.
Look, Marty's
What?
next
It's right
project
there
after
for
Killers
you.
of the Flower Moon.
It's not Roosevelt. Roosevelt's going back on the
Yeah,
shelf.
it's
so
Now
they
You
can
Don't.
make Now You Don't.
Yeah, it's Now You Don't, and he's bringing back De Niro. He's bringing back Cruz.
I'm going to tell you right now, that will be the greatest movie ever.
Roosevelt is a pool movie. It's about Fats Roosevelt.
It's going to be written by Paul Schrader to complete the quadrilogy of tortured men.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the real stuff here. We've got Tom's hair, Tom's brow,
Tom's hair.
and Tom's teeth.
Tom's hair. I could go for 20
Negative.
minutes. on.
Across the board, all three bigger than you would expect.
That's
what I
fair.
would say.
So
How
let's-
low can I go? Like
let's-
what is the bottom? here?
We're gonna rate each one on a scale of 1 to 5. So I'll start with the hair. I feel really good about this hair. It's got some verticality.
It's huge.
It's got like
it's
the
moosed up.
yeah. It's got like the poof, the woof poof. I'm going 4. I'm going 4 out of 5 with the hair. I feel really good about it. It's looking good
It's
for the energy of this movie.
yeah. That's the thing is like he's playing a guy who definitely would have that hair. Like he's playing like a fucking like Stranger Things character. In
Yeah.
this. Like a 1 season guy who comes in and is like, I'm the new guy. Like.
It's like this guy isn't gonna make it.
So I'll agree. I'll go in on there. I'll go in on the hair. Is this like the largest he got?
That's a great
The-
question.
Because he gets like longer and
He's
flowing.
so voluminous.
I'm gonna go the
though.
other way, guys. This hair is awful. I hate the hair in this movie.
Well,
it is disgusting. It created a visceral reaction in my tummy.
Disgusting.
As you know, I think Tom Cruise is the sexiest little alien creature to
Ew.
ever bless our planet. And I did not like the hair in this movie.
What do you think, Joe?
It's thick, but
I'm gonna
it's
go
not
in the
good.
middle because there is kind of like the wow factor of like, wow, that's a lot, really
a lot.
high. I
It's
think
a
'cause-
lot.
I mean, I don't know.
That's
I don't
more how
think it
I
has
felt.
ever been this big, and especially coming off of Top Gun where he's like a supermodel.
Yeah.
It's like he does look insane. Like he looks
It's
like a
so
crazy.
He
person.
it makes him look like
It
looks
like
like
a
he's-
tall 5'4".
It looks like he's wearing like a fucking. It looks like a fucking something that the Wiggles would wear, like a Wiggles wig. It doesn't look like human hair that he has.
You
on
think
top
it's a
of his
wig?
head.
There's no way it's a
I don't
wig.
think it's a wig, but it looks like it should be like painted red, and he should be going like fruit salad, yummy, yummy.
Mhm.
It's just a lot.
Yummy, yummy.
I think it's cool. I think the thing is that like the lowest that I'm going to go for his hair is going to be if we do Mission Impossible 2. His hair looks stupid.
I can't.
That's
Can't do this
you're
right
gonna be
now.
wrong.
Can't
Do you
do
like
this.
his
Which
hair
is
in Magnolia?
fine.
Magnolia.
Yeah.
Magnolia.
Magnolia hair is
hair?
like a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I would agree.
The bun. He's gone
Mhm.
full bun in that
Mhm.
one. All right. Here's a big one. The brow. The brow is not great.
We gotta. I know unibrows were in the 80s. I know.
It's
and here's
real
the thing:
tough here.
they shouldn't have ever been in. It's kind of like how mullets are making a comeback right now. It's like, hey guys, you know what looks bad are mullets, and maybe we should have just let those things. Not everything has to come back around. Some things can just die.
I can't believe that no one on set was like, let me just
Just tweeze.
let
that
me
a little
just
bit.
get a little
Fuck it,
bit
dude.
in
I'll
there.
shave it so it's quick.
The
Like
fact
whatever
that
it takes.
The hair is so pushed up. I mean, there's nothing below.
You're just
Every hair
only
is sticking
seeing
up.
unibrow,
So
man.
it's like, there's like no man's land, and then
Yeah.
it's fucking the thin brown line right here. You know? It's tough. I
I'm
feel
going
bad
2.
for him. I'd give it a 1, honestly.
Oof.
It's
Yeah.
I mean,
Honestly.
because the hair is like kind of admirable. It's like you're really going for something here, but then the brow, it's like It's distracting.
It's prominent.
gross.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
distracting.
Well,
is
it makes him look
distracting.
weird because he's a handsome guy, and there's
Yeah.
shots in this where you're like,
Yeah, the close-ups. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm giving it
brow,
a 1.
brow thoughts.
I think this might be
Sure.
the worst brow that we see the entire series.
Probably it's just this movie's darker generally.
So
so
that's
like
it, it's better
because
than-
there's shots in Top Gun where like it looks like they're trying to show you his unibrow.
He's
and-
way sweatier in Top Gun too. which
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a whole sweat brow
yeah, there's just,
situation
like, it's
going on.
dripping down.
Well, I'm trying to see because I think by the time maybe he might have the unibrow in Cocktail, but I think by the time that Rain Man comes around, it's gone.
somebody told
From
him.
what I remember correctly, it's definitely gone. Born on the 4th of July, so we're reaching the end of the unibrow.
Okay. Teeth. How are we feeling on the teeth? I think it's good teeth here. I'll go 4 on the teeth.
I'll say 3. I think it's a nice neutral teeth. You know, he's got a
Yeah.
nice. Obviously, we touched on the kind of the gravitas of the smile at times.
Yeah.
but I think the teeth look nice.
If we're including smile within the teeth as well,
have
then
to,
I'd have to
yeah.
go. If we aren't making a separate category for that, then I'd put that at a 3 because the smile is a bit scary.
Right.
I was a little bit like afraid for
frightening,
myself
yeah.
whenever I saw it, so I can't go higher than a 3.
By the time Cocktail comes out, though, he has an entirely new set of chompers in there.
Yeah.
like it's all.
I've never.
I
heard
will
of
say,
Cocktail. I don't know what this film
hair
is.
wise, aren't covering Cocktail on the feed, but Cocktail hair is like a 5 out of 5.
Is that the next year?
Great.
Is that 87?
It's 88.
88.
and it's got he has a whole
watch
that's when like because his jaw like changes once he has like the full set of like fake
The
teeth.
shape is different.
Yeah, that's when he has like a big Tom Cruise head
Only
going.
Roger
Yeah.
Donaldson knows. how to
And
frame his
by the way,
teeth.
the tagline of the movie Cocktail, oof, when he pours, he reigns. REIGNS. Come on.
That's
Oh,
so
wow.
cool.
Come on now.
I'm definitely gonna watch Cocktail. Cocktail's been on my watch list, like pretty much since I've had a
We
Letterboxd
can do
account.
we can
so.
do a Patreon.
I would love if it's the
Cool.
exact same plot of that. He's like the best cocktail pourer, and then Paul Newman's like, "You gotta rein it in, kid."
You got
Paul
bomb-
Newman
you
is,
gotta
uh,
bomb
He's
this
trying to
one.
hustle them. He's like trying to like.
He's retired into like the pool playing business, and he's like, I got to get into liquor.
gotta get into
Get back
liquor
into
salesman.
cocktails.
I gotta give some old labels to these bottles.
We didn't talk about how Paul Newman is like a liquor hustler.
And also, yeah, no, he's definitely hustling, like, I don't know, somebody's fucking bootleg whiskey
Yeah.
that they're making. And he's just like, it tastes
Some-
better than turkey.
some toilet
I-
hooch.
It is a thing in The Hustler. He orders it one time in this, but JTS Brown
Yeah, it's a big thing.
bourbon. It's just his thing. And The Hustler is a great line. He's just like, JTS Brown, hold the ice, hold the glass. And then they just bring him a
Oh my
bottle,
God.
which is just really cool.
Is there Newman's own whiskey? Let me look this up.
I don't think so.
Newman's own products, beverages.
like a. Well, I mean, he's like some of those. He's got like the balsamic vinaigrettes and stuff.
Yeah.
so he's,
you want to
he's
chug?
familiar with
You want to
fermenting.
chug on those?
Yeah.
All right. So it
not
looks
a
like
huge fan. I'm gonna say it. I'm sorry, Ernest. I'm not a huge fan of the sort of minimalist rebrand that they've done recently.
I'm looking at it now. Yeah, it is very 2020.
It just doesn't. It's not gonna age quite as well.
Everyone's doing this.
Here's
now.
the
I
thing.
know, but
I
like
think
they
it's the
couldn't,
hot new
they
thing.
couldn't go all the
Modernism-
way. It's like they couldn't like vectorize like Paul Newman,
right.
You know,
it's
they
just
couldn't make it
still
like-
the photo of him.
Yeah, so it just doesn't work. And like
Yeah.
I don't know, they're frozen pizzas though. I love.
Modernism is killing all creativity. in
No,
this
but
world.
look again.
Liberalism is. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, fucking.
Sorry.
I'll say
Thanks,
this.
thanks, Joe.
Pre-episode joke. Sorry.
That's a Patreon exclusive.
Newman's Own makes beef jerky. Wait,
they
what?
make
That's
dude,
probably
no, they
sick.
make like fucking everything. It's crazy.
Olive oil, salsa.
I'm really happy
Fake
for
Newman.
Paul.
That's on a
dried
dog
fruit.
website.
Rest in
You should
power,
look.
Paul.
Rest in
dog
power.
treats. You think Paul Newman wanted to make dog treats?
He definitely did. He put that actually in his will. He's like, I want to put all of my money into the technology created to make the best puppy snack sticks.
This is a guy with an inferiority complex
Yeah. He was
to,
like,
to
yeah.
Steve McQueen. He's like, I have his literal motto of his company is let's give it all away. Like he's like, he might be cooler and drive faster cars, but I'm a good guy.
Mhm.
I'm
Right.
a great dude.
I hate this rebrand.
Mhm.
I did
Look-
not seen this until right now. This
His
must be
pasta
like a new
Rooney has a blue
Hunter.
label now. A pasta sauce with a blue label.
That's stupid.
Look, I again from a marketing standpoint, This is what everyone's doing.
That doesn't
I know.
matter.
Here's the
That's why
thing.
you don't do it.
But
let me tell you,
it makes sense.
I went into
You gotta go with the trends.
I went to
some point.
Fresh
So they can
Market.
put it as like their fucking Insta profile picture. Who cares?
I went to Fresh Market the other day and I was like, you know what's great? This place feels homey. I feel like I am in a marketplace right now. There's like wooden banisters everywhere. They're definitely like inconvenient. It's like hard to check out in this place because things are too cramped, and I like it.
It's like salt spilling into the aisles.
Yeah.
There's just shit
I
on the
enjoy
floor.
that.
There's like flies on the produce. I feel it.
Every time I walk into like a fucking Chipotle or something like that, and there's just
Too
like
clean.
fucking silver everywhere, I'm just like, I want to kill myself. I feel like I'm in the SpongeBob episode of the
20
SB129.
I'm just tired. I'm tired of everything looking like an airport. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
This
like,
is-
you go to
well, this is
McDonald's and you're
fucking-
like, I got to go to Terminal 6 to get the chicken now. You know?
Listen, this is Joe's America.
Thank you.
I keep saying
I was
this.
in the Detroit airport this week. They had public transit in the airport.
Are you fucking
What
kidding
kind of
me?
bullshit
Next you're
is
gonna tell me
this?
that it was electric.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, so they're just giving cancer out for free these days.
And let me guess. You had 4G on your phone.
Okay.
Actually, it was
I
Detroit.
can't make 4G jokes.
Let him have it.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It was Detroit that had 6G.
Okay, it's 6G.
It gets
It was
system
Detroit.
faster. So Nick Cage in this movie.
Hold on.
Oh,
I just wanted to say, this is a pin for future movies. The running. We're gonna have to score the running. There is no run. There is a little bit of running.
there's jogging to catch up with Paul Newman as he's walking
Yeah.
outside.
And the
Oh,
best shot in the movie, maybe.
Well, there's one shot where he's running alongside the car.
Yeah.
Or no,
That's
no.
in the same shot. It's the shot where he's walking outside, the camera sticks onto the Cadillac.
And he's chasing
and then
it.
he's
That's
not,
right.
it's more of like a jog. It's not like he's like really fucking slim.
Well, when they when Tom Cruise like intentionally loses the $30 and Paul Newman and him escape, there's that brief run from the door to the car.
There you
it's
go.
only about maybe a yard, but there is running. to
Okay.
be found
Are we
in the
sure
film.
that Paul could run for that long? Maybe that
No, I
was the
don't think so.
problem.
So okay, so a little bit. I'll give it a 1. We'll give it a 1. It's not a disqualified. It'll chart. Okay, recaging, re-robbing couch.
Cage could have been Tom Cruise. 90s Cage.
It's dude, come on. It's Turturro.
So no, that's who I have. It's Cage coked up Turturro. I think is a better movie, and I love Turturro.
I think
that guy.
I think early 90s Cage would have been really good as the Tom Cruise part.
I think Cage could have done the Forrest Whitaker part.
Ooh,
You know what I
that's
mean?
solid.
As
Yeah.
like just
I like that.
him hustling.
Well,
just
because
out
Cage
there.
and Whitaker are both kind of eccentric, kind of
Yeah.
enigmatic
Big
actors.
big sort of
Yeah.
personalities.
One scene, one and done.
I just
Um,
want to see Cage be coked out. And
Right.
like he was like the original guy. He's just like, come on, give me another 20. I got him on the ropes. Like that's what I want to see Cage doing.
He could do it. Yeah, he could do that. He could do a lot in this movie.
Robin.
I want Robin. Well, I asked myself for like half
Paul
a
Newman.
second, could he play Eddie?
No.
And I don't think the answer is
Fast
no.
Eddie
For the
Felton
same
has to be smoking hot.
for the same reason. He's not hot enough.
He has to be
doesn't
so
have the riz.
desirable. Yeah.
I want him to be Otis the pool hall owner. I think that he would be like a
Chalkies?
really good as like the Chalkies, the pool hall owner.
But he has to be his character from The Fisher King.
yeah, he's
Like
just like
schizophrenic.
He
Could have been one of the homeless guys that tells them where Chalky's
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
He's just like, where else would it be?
Some things never change.
I don't know. I'd like to see Robin. Maybe we get shaven Robin, like clean shaven Robin as Seasons, as Grady Seasons.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Would
throw
Ro-
him in there.
Well, that would have made the pool scenes rough because the magic of that sequence is that like Grady Seasons is a professional pool player and Tom Cruise made himself be a professional pool player for like 6 months. So they're actually playing against each
It
other.
doesn't matter if you can play pool or not. If you can just tell jokes, you can just riff. All right. Any other thoughts on The Color of Money? Tom Cruise. You have any larger like Tom Cruise thoughts, Joe? You want to get off your chest?
I think this movie goes to show that he really is a great actor, though. I mean, he is really. There's something he kind of has that kind of. It is weird. There's kind of. I was thinking about Boogie Nights a lot during this. Kind of. He's got the kind of Dirk Diggler thing going on.
That's honestly a great comp.
And Paul Newman kind of looks like Burt Reynolds in it, and it's so. I know that Tom Cruise is in kind of the action movie phase, but I guess as a fan, I hope that he does return back to kind of proper film acting, you know what I mean? Less spectacle. Because too, I mean, he's so great, and then too that this is kind of the fact that he's worked with Scorsese and it's more a minor work for both of them is quite interesting, you know? Because this is kind of the I mean, even though I think Paul Newman's been better in other movies, this is his Oscar, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'd love to see Cruise, try to kind of get back into that arena because he's so great.
It'll happen
so bad.
It'll happen.
I mean, Magnolia, it's like you're like, holy fucking shit.
He's got like 5 or 6 of those where it's like, how the fuck did this not happen? It's a bummer. We skipped over recasting couch, but young Mark Wahlberg actually would have been incredible in this role. Like I buy that 100%. Dirk Diggler era Mark Wahlberg.
I just thought of something. I need to say this it'll leave my brain forever if I don't say this right now. I watched Transformers: Rise of the Beasts on an airplane this week.
Best of the year, right?
Very bad movie. Very, very bad.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
They reference Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch in that movie.
Wait, what?
But Mark Wahlberg is a character in the Transformers.
Does that mean
movies.
that like they're just like Optimus is just like, thank you, Marky Mark, for joining us on this journey?
I was like, what is happening?
I think it's sort of like Imagine, like the movie. Is that what it's called?
Yesterday.
It's like
it's a different timeline.
Forgot
They changed the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, the movie's bad.
Are you sure?
It did.
Do you want to revisit it?
Are you talking about the right movie?
It did piss me off that I thought Pete Davidson was kind of good in it. I was like, what is happening? Why am I enjoying
you guys excited for Dumb Money?
Oh, is Pete Davidson?
Pete Davidson's in it.
I have that drafted in our fantasy film league, and I won't say like the news about it has like gotten me overly excited.
It's solid takes.
Craig Gillespie heads in the house.
I do love I, Tonya. So that's what I'm holding on to. Never saw Pam and Tommy.
Pam and Tommy. My
Never
dad
saw
watched
that.
it.
Same dad who loves Paul Newman.
Same dad who loves
Did
Paul
he
Newman.
say that Seth Rogen reminded him a lot of Paul Newman after watching Paul?
Funny enough, he did. He turned off Picard and he looked at me and he went, Seth Rogen is a lot like Paul Newman. So
it makes a lot of sense.
Shout out to all the dads out there
watching Picard.
I hope that they can remember the glory of Paul Newman. And hey, let's all take our dads out to a nice pool game at some point if you're lucky enough to do that. One last pool game, old dad out there.
I fucking smoke Leonard at pool now. I hate to
Yeah.
say. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing.
Table
You
still
need
in that room?
You're
a tiny little room where you have to use a short stick if you're on either of the sides.
Your problem was that you're just like Vincent. Like you're out there, you gotta wheel it back a bit. Whenever we get out there on the golf course with Leonard, you're gonna have to fucking let him get the first 4 holes. Where I have to spot him.
Yeah.
And then we come back and we whoop his ass.
That's facts. He won't play golf with me. He won't.
He knows that you're
no, just because he knows, he doesn't like playing things that he's bad at, and he's old.
That's why he won't play pool with you anymore.
I mean, a lot of us are scared of playing anything against Drew because we know that he'll fucking win. I'm fucking terrified.
Here's the thing: I tied against Drew the last time that we played.
I know.
Holes, and
genuinely,
that felt
I'm like,
great
I'm not
to me.
that good.
Okay.
It's just you guys are
so bad.
Here's the thing, Ernie, we just got to learn how to fucking make a buck on this.
Right. No, that's
Drew,
right.
you're doing so
figure
good.
out how to make money off of this. It's too good.
I should have died. A fish
People
saved
really
my
hate
life.
this.
For 50 seconds, I thought there was monsters on the world.
That's why I can't go to work.
Any other thoughts on gambling?
I think it's good. Legalize gambling and fucking tax it and fund school teachers so that teachers can make adequate
Oh.
wages.
Is that
fucking simple?
Is that why billiards is dying?
Is because
gambling is illegal?
it's because we
I don't
won't
think
pay our
any of that
teachers.
was ever like through proper channels back in the subculture days.
No, that was literally a thing where he says donate it to charity to properly pay public school teachers. He says that like in parentheses.
Well, what do you know?
Yeah, Martin Scorsese comes on camera and he's like, "Listen,
It was weird when Marty
have
gets
to
in
talk.
front of the camera and says, "Pay the writers" at the end. I thought that was strange.
Yeah, he's just like
pay those fucking writers."
he's just like I think that superheroes got a chance to do something special. These movies.
All right, well, we can wrap it up there. Thank you all for tuning in. Please be sure to rate, review, subscribe, like, comment. Let us know your thoughts on The Color of Money. Check out weboughtamic.net, patreon.com/weboughtamic. Subscribe, $5 a month. Thank you to all those beautiful patrons for making this show possible, supporting all the hard work that goes into it, helping us buy more mics. We need more mics. We need to be buying more mics with your money.
Yeah.
Okay? Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
You want to plug anything?
Yeah, I have a podcast with Adam Serdorius. He's been on this show a couple times before. Aggressively Okay Podcast, available wherever podcasts are available. Also, check out the Aggressively Okay Productions YouTube channel. I may or may not have a short film coming out, maybe within the next couple months. Maybe it's a sequel to smash blockbuster hit. Who knows? Who knows?
It's you and Macquarie right next to each other. He's working on Dead Reckoning Part 2. You're working on another Part 2.
Yeah, Part 2. You
of
know,
something.
Can't officially announce it yet, but let's just say it's Spike.
Spike 2.
This is the first official announcement. You guys get the exclusive announcement.
Oh my god, you're announcing
Spike 2. Yeah,
Spike 2
we
is
made
coming.
it.
Have you tried to like really play with the letters of Spike to figure out where you can put the 2 in?
Two
Have
Ike.
you been like,
I-
kind
Ike.
of looks like a 2. And
I've
I,
thought
like,
about the
fucking
S,
it.
but I think I'm just gonna call it Spike again. Just
Spike again.
Spike,
Spike
comma again. I think that's what it's gonna be. Yeah.
Spike again.
I thought about spiked, but then that kind of has like undertones, you know.
Yeah, more spiking.
More Spike-est.
2 Spike.
Yeah.
Spike TV.
Spike TV.
You should call it Manser.
Answers? Yeah.
How many boobs can you
Call
fit
it
in
the
a
man
butt?
show. Yeah. I think I'm gonna call it Bro Code actually. Guy Code actually. Guy Code. It's called No Women Allowed.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Thanks
This
so
is for
much
women.
for coming on.
I made Spike 2 for the girls, truthfully.
Spike 2 is actually for the girlies and the gays. Everybody knows that.
Listen to our extra Patreon mini episode for more Joe content.
Yeah, it's good to be
And-
here. I appreciate it, guys. I
Yeah.
had a nice time.
And you will get residuals for the rest of your life.
Awesome.
Right, on
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
We'll
At
have you on.
Netflix.
I know. That's why we're allowed to do this, is because we are
Non-union.
we're conforming to what the guild and what SAG-AFTRA wants.
Well, actually, we were kind of trendsetters because we were doing this,
Yeah.
and then A24 was like, "Fuck, we gotta do this. We gotta fucking."
we will not
get on this."
use an AI Joey in perpetuity in the background of every podcast.
unless
Just
you
have me saying
consent
something
to it.
offensive. Yeah.
If you consent to it, then we actually 100% will use an AI. Joke.
Aggressively Okay is awesome. One of my faves.
Oh, thank you. I think you guys are because Serdorius approached me about doing the podcast, but I believe you guys were the genesis of him
Yeah.
asking me. So
After he came on to talk about A Wrinkle in Time.
He was
Wow.
like,
that went
wow.
so well.
he was like, I know I could do
That was
better
the
than
first
these
time
guys.
that I ever met Adam, and he was just like, "Yeah, I have this screener that like I have extra tickets. You guys can all see him. It's a new Disney film. It's called A Wrinkle in Time." And then it was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I want to be friends.
we tore that.
We-
I feel bad. We tore that thing to shreds.
It's a bad movie.
Those
it's
poor
one of the worst
children.
movies I've ever seen.
That's a
really, really
it's
bad.
fucking
Okay,
abominable. It's
But
Storm
yeah,
Reed.
you I can't wait to listen to you guys talk about what are you talking about next?
I think the next
Strays?
episode. No, we're not doing Strays. I think the next episode we're doing is like an Oscar predictions episode.
Okay, good. Oh,
So-
it's heating up.
It's heating up. Yeah, we're
All
about to
right.
cross into
Let's go.
the season.
Let's
So,
go. Let's go.
Yeah, check it out, guys. We got a lot of stuff coming out. None of it's good, but it's passable.
That's our demo.
Yeah.
That's our loyal listeners.
I particularly like the episodes with Murphy.
Oh
Where
yeah, he's a great
The
guest.
three
yeah.
of you just yell at each other the whole time.
I mean, if you've seen the Guardians of the Galaxy episode, I get mad. I get my ass kicked. I throw a fit. It's a whole thing.
it's beautiful.
So
really.
also that we have Tyler comes on, our buddy Tyler, to talk about the DC movies. Those are always a lot of fun too. And then
Yeah,
I
those are more sad because those movies are too bad.
Yeah, they're a real depressing episode. We didn't even do one for Blue Beetle because we were like, we can't even get out of bed.
Is that a real movie?
I don't
Are
know.
we sure that that's a real? Like,
I'm not sure.
If a tree falls in AMC theaters at Blue Beetle, showing
there
you nobody's
is a
there to
scene.
see it,
There
doesn't make
is a
sound.
scene where in Transformers: Rise of the Beast where he becomes a Blue Beetle transformer, and I was like, all right, I get it.
you basically saw it.
Yeah.
It's vertical integration right there.
All right. Next week, it's Rain Man.
Wow.
We're gonna
Oh,
get
you guys
smart.
they're doing the re-release. You guys, did you time it with that? Fathom has that coming
I
out
guess
next month.
we did.
Let's fucking go. Look at us. We
Yeah, this
definitely
actually it's
planned that.
SpawnCon for them.
We're
they
so
approached us.
smart
Oh, okay.
and planned that out so well.
Stick around for Rain Man. Thanks again, Joe. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.